Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are going to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 29. We start today, chapter 29 from the 10th canto. We finished chapter 28 yesterday. We heard how Krishna showed Krishna Lok to the Gopals, and they were so happy. They said there's no difference between the Vrindavan that they're living in and the Vrindavan where Krishna is celebrated as the Supreme Lord. They understood that Krishna is the Supreme Lord at that moment. But they said, oh, there's no difference at all between this Vrindavan and between Golok Vrindavan. So today we'll read chapter 29. Krishna and the Gopis meet for the Rasa dance. I'm not sure, is Guru Maharaj joined it?
Yes, Maharaj, you have joined.
Guru Maharaj, you're here.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Would you like to read for us?
Well, I seem to be having some computer problem.
Okay. So,
But anyway, we're beginning from the first verse.
from chapter 29, we are going to read from there's a short summary first.
You read the summary?
Yeah. You read the summary and then going on to the verses then.
Mm-hmm. I'm just having some computer problem here.
Yeah. Or till the time, do you want me to read the short summary till the time it gets fixed?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. This chapter describes how Lord Sri Krishna, intending to enjoy the Rasa dance, engaged in arguments and counter-arguments with the Gopis. Then there is a description of the beginning of the Rasa dance and the Lord's pastime of disappearing from the midst of the Gopis. Remembering the promise he had made to the Gopis when he had stolen their clothes, Lord Krishna employed his Yogamaya potency and manifested within himself the desire to enjoy pastimes during an autumn night. Thus, he began to play his flute. When the Gopis heard the flute sound, the impulses of Cupid were violently aroused within them, and they immediately abandoned all their household duties and hastily went to Krishna. All the Gopis had purely spiritual bodies, but when some of the Gopis' husbands and other family members stopped the young girls from going, Lord Krishna arranged for them to temporarily exhibit material bodies, which they then left at the sides of their husbands. In this way, they deceived their relatives and went off to meet Krishna. When the Gopis came before Lord Krishna, he asked, "Why have you come? It's not good for you to travel to such a place in the dread of the night, for this forest is full of violent creatures. Your husbands and children will soon come searching after you to bring you home and engage you again in your household duties. After all, the prime religious duty of a woman is to serve her husband and children. For a respectable woman to consort with a paramour is totally contemptible and sure to obstruct her progress to heaven. Moreover, one develops pure love for me not by physical proximity, but by hearing topics connected with me, by viewing my deity form in the temple, by meditating upon me, and by faithfully chanting my glories. Therefore, all of you would do best to return home." The gopis were crestfallen to hear this, and after crying a little, they replied with a bit of anger, "It is very unfair for you to reject young girls who have abandoned everything in their lives and come to you with the exclusive desire to serve you. By serving our husbands and children, we receive only pain, whereas by serving you, the dearmost soul of all living beings, we will perfectly fulfill the true religious duty of the self. What woman will not deviate from her prescribed duties as soon as she hears your flute song and sees your form, which enchants the three worlds? Just as the Supreme Lord Vishnu protects the demigods, you destroy the unhappiness of the people of Vrindavan. Therefore, you should immediately relieve the torment we have felt because of separation from you. Wanting to please the gopis, Lord Krishna, who is always satisfied in himself, responded to their appeals by playing with them in various pastimes. But when this show of attention made them a little proud, he humbled them by suddenly disappearing from the arena of the Rasa dance. So that was a short summary. Guru Maharaj, you can read now.
Sri Badarayana Vacha Bhagavana Pita Ratri Saradot Pula Malika Vikshya Rantum Manas Chakri Yoga Mayam Upashrita. Sri Badarayani said, Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, full in all opulences. Yet upon seeing those autumn nights scented with blossoming jasmine flowers, he turned his mind towards loving affairs. To fulfill his purposes, he employed his internal potency. Purport. As we begin the famous narration of Sri Krishna's Rasa dance, a dance of love with beautiful young girls, questions will inevitably arise in the minds of ordinary people regarding the propriety of God's romantic dancing with many young girls in the middle of a full moon autumn night. In his description of the Lord's Rasa dance in Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Srila Prabhupada painstakingly explains the spiritual purity of these transcendental activities. Those advanced in the science of Krishna, the great teachers or acharyas, leave no doubt that Lord Krishna is full and satisfied in himself, free of all material desire, which is, after all, a sense of incompleteness or lack. Materialistic persons and impersonal philosophers stubbornly reject the bona fide explanation of Sri Krishna's transcendental nature. There is no reason to deny the beautiful reality of an absolute person able to perform absolute romantic activities, of which our so-called romance is merely a shadow or perverted reflection. The irrational insistence that material activities cannot be a reflection of the perfect spiritual activities performed by God reflects the unimaginative emotional disposition of those who oppose the reality of Sri Krishna. This psychological disposition of the non-devotees, which leads them to fervently deny the very existence of the absolute person, unfortunately boils down to what may be succinctly described as envy, since the overwhelming majority of the impersonal critics eagerly pursue their own romantic affairs, which they consider quite real and even spiritual. The actual supreme lover is Lord Krishna. The Vedanta Sutra begins by declaring that the absolute truth is the source of everything. And even Western philosophy was born in a somewhat awkward attempt at finding the original one behind the apparent many of material existence. Conjugal love, one of the most intense and demanding aspects of human existence, can hardly have nothing at all to do with supreme reality. In fact, the conjugal love experienced by human beings is a mere reflection of spiritual reality in which the same love exists in an absolute, pristine state. Thus, it is clearly stated here that when Krishna decided to enjoy the romantic atmosphere of autumn, he resorted to his spiritual potency. Yoga Mayam Upashritaha. The spiritual nature of Lord Krishna's conjugal affairs is a major theme in this section of the Srimad Bhagavatam. A woman is attractive because of the sweet sound of her voice, her beauty and gentleness, her enchanting fragrance and tenderness, and also because of her cleverness and skill in music and dance. The most attractive ladies of all are the young Gopis of Vrindavan, who are Lord Krishna's internal potency. And this chapter tells how he enjoyed their brilliant feminine qualities, even though, as Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has mentioned, Lord Krishna was an 8-year-old boy when these events took place. Ordinary people prefer God simply to be a witness of their romantic affairs. When a boy desires a girl, or a girl desires a boy, sometimes they pray to God for their enjoyment. Such people are shocked and dismayed to find out that the Lord can enjoy his own loving affairs with his own transcendental senses. In truth, Sri Krishna is the original Cupid, and his exciting conjugal pastimes will be described in this section of the Bhagavatam. When Lord Krishna descends to the earth, his spiritual body seems to take birth and grow as he displays his variegated pastimes. The Lord could hardly allow his boyhood to pass without exhibiting the supreme loving affairs between a young boy and young girls. Thus, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes Srila Rupa Goswami as follows: Kaishoram sapali karoti kalayan kunje viharam harin. Lord Hari perfects his youth by arranging loving pastimes in the groves of the Vrindavan forest. This ends the purport, chapter 29, text 1. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Srila Vyasadeva is speaking to us. Oh, rather, Sukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, is speaking to us. So Sukadeva Goswami, of course, he's speaking Srimad Bhagavatam to Maharaj Parikshit, and he's now come to introduce this this topic of the Rāsa dance, which is the supreme pastime of Lord Krishna. We have to understand that when Lord Krishna comes to this world, he is the supreme personality of Godhead. So he's coming to display the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Different from Lord Ramachandra. Lord Ramachandra comes to the world and he's displaying the pastimes of a king. But Lord Krishna, he's not just simply a king and he's not just a cowherd boy. He's the Supreme Lord of everything. And he's coming to show us the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. What actually takes place in the spiritual world, and how does the Lord enjoy as the Supreme Lord? So this Rasa dance, this is the exhibition of Lord Krishna's loving affairs with his topmost devotees. The Rasa dance is Lord Krishna's pastime for his enjoyment. And it's a completely pure affair. There's nothing mundane, there's no influence of the modes of nature. Of course, common people misunderstand these things. Therefore, the Rasa Lila has been hidden from ordinary people. It's been put in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Maharaj Parikshit is preparing for leaving the body. So Sukadeva Goswami has been speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, and he's been describing the different incarnations of the Lord and the Lord's different potencies. He wants Maharaj Parikshit to understand the inconceivable nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how he has unlimited potencies, his different energies, for example. And the first, second, third canto, we hear about creation, how the Lord arranges to create this whole material universe. And many universes are created by him. So by hearing different things like the process of creation, and then the Lord's different incarnations, and then in this 10th canto, we've already heard how Lord Krishna, as a child, killed many different demons, like Putana. Although he was a baby, Putana had come and tried to kill him. But Lord Krishna took Putana and delivered her, made her into his devotee so that she could go back to Godhead. So this is just something of the inconceivable power and the compassion of Lord Krishna. So it's like the ultimate pastime now is to hear about Lord Krishna's Rasa Lila, how Lord Krishna actually gives pleasure to his topmost devotees, the Gopīs, they're ladies who have sacrificed everything for the service of Krishna. We want to understand how Lord Krishna has no material desire, that he is completely satisfied in himself. We are conditioned souls and we have the tendency to see everything according to our own nature. And we think when there's an affair between a young man and young women, it must be some affair of lust for material enjoyment. But we have to understand this is what we know as the affairs between young men and women. That is a perverted reflection of pure love. Actually, there's no real love in the material world. There's only lust that we all want to enjoy. So Lord Krishna also wants to enjoy, but he enjoys in the supreme way, in the unlimited way. Right? It's written here that the actual supreme lover is Krishna. Right? We are trying to imitate Krishna in our own pastimes. We try to enjoy some conjugal relationship with the other sex. But that is just a perversion of Lord Krishna's enjoyment. So Lord Krishna likes to enjoy in an unlimited way. And the way in which he does it is by gathering these different devotees who have come in the form of Gopīs. And there are different groups of Gopīs. We know how some Gopīs have come, and they were great sages in the past. There were the sages from Dandakaranya. What happened was, in the incarnation of Lord Rama was in the forest, and he met many great sages there in the forest. And these sages were attracted to Lord Ramachandra. And it happened that they actually desired to enjoy a conjugal relationship with Lord Ramachandra. However, Lord Ramachandra told them that in this incarnation it would not be possible. Because we all know Lord Ramachandra, he took Ekapatni Vrat. He vowed he would only take one wife. So devotees were thinking, they thought it would be nice, but at the same time, we can understand there are difficulties. Anyway, these great sages, they wanted to enjoy conjugal love with Lord Ramachandra. Lord Ramachandra told them, you come in my next incarnation as Lord Krishna, and you take your birth in the family of the cowherd people. And as Gopīs, you can have my association. So one group of the Gopīs, they were great sages from the Dandakaranya forest who had taken birth in the family of the cowherd people of Vrindavan, and they enjoyed to take part in the Rāsa dance. Another group of Gopīs were the Shruticharas. In other words, they were the personified Vedas. They were great sages who were the personified Vedas, and they wanted to understand the personal form of the Lord and his pastimes with his loving devotees. Because these things are hardly mentioned in the Vedas. So although they're the personified Vedas, they did not know about the real form of the Lord and his pastime. Even Lord Brahma has stated in the Brahma Samhita, Vedeshu Durlabham, Adurlabham Atma Bhakto. That it's very easy to know the Lord by devotional service. But if you try to learn about the Lord just simply by studying the Vedas, then it's very difficult. So the Shruticharas, they could not understand the Lord fully. They wanted to know more about the Lord and his pastimes. And so they were told by Lord Krishna, he said, you have to take birth in the family of the cowherd people. So the Shruti Charas, they all had to take birth in the family of the cowherd people, and then they in the body of young girls, they became gopis, and they were able to join in Lord Krishna's Rasa Lila. So you've got like that one group of gopis who were from the personified Vedas, and you've got other gopis who are Nijasiddha gopis, who are coming from Goloka. They're coming with Lord Krishna to accompany him, to take part in his pastimes. And then you've got some gopis also who are just becoming perfect, and they're going to go back to Godhead, and they're taking birth in the pastimes of Lord Krishna to get like final training before going back to Godhead. And like these gopis, maybe they've done sadhana, they're sadhana siddha gopis. And by doing sadhana, they've become qualified to take part in Krishna's pastimes. So it's stated actually, before we can go back to Godhead, we will take birth first in some universe where Lord Krishna's pastimes are going on. And we join in the pastimes there in the association, in the company of Lord Krishna. And you take birth in the pastimes of Krishna and get final training. And then from there, then you go back to Godhead. You don't immediately, we don't immediately go back to Godhead. So like that Rasa dance is a very important pastime for us. And we have to understand it very carefully, that these gopis who are taking part in the Rasa dance with Lord Krishna, they're not ordinary living entities, but they're very, very special souls. And somehow, been so fortunate, they have the opportunity to join in the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Not just any pastime, but the topmost pastime of the Rasa Lila. So this Rasa Lila is a very, very special pastime. And Lord Krishna likes to enjoy. So he picks the very best place in the universe, a very special place, Vrindavan, which is the replica of the spiritual world. So it's the most wonderful place, Vrindavan, full of many beautiful trees and flowers and wonderful animals like the cows and the peacocks and so on. So we've got the festival coming up on this place, and we've got the most wonderful ladies, the most beautiful ladies, these gopis. They're not just ordinary ladies, but some of them were great sages, and some were personified Vedas and so on. And they're the most beautiful young girls. They're young and they're very pure and very, very attractive. So they're the most beautiful ladies in the most beautiful place, Vrindavan. And Lord Krishna picks the most beautiful time of the year, when there's a full moon, just like in the Sarat season, right? On the Purnima, Sarat Purnima. It's the most beautiful time in the year. So this is how Lord Krishna enjoys, with the most beautiful ladies, in the most beautiful place, on the most beautiful night in the year. And Lord Krishna has chosen this night for his pastime, for his Rasa Lila. So we're told about the wonderful qualities of the gopis, how they're very beautiful and gentle, and they're also expert in music and dancing. And Lord Krishna's only an 8-year-old boy. So we can hardly begin to imagine. And so in the purport, they explain how ordinary people have their own conception about God, and they want to see, they think God should only be a witness, and we should enjoy, we should do everything ourselves. But we're told that Lord Krishna, he takes the opportunity of being the young boy to enjoy loving relationships with young girls. So this is the perfection of youth. Arranging these pastimes in the Vrindavan forest with the most beautiful ladies on the most beautiful night. And he's enjoying. This is Lord Krishna's position. He is the supreme enjoyer, and everything is meant for his pleasure. So one time Srila Prabhupada it was arranged, he met with this one scholar. He was a professor of Hindu studies, or something like that. And this was in the USA. So this professor came to meet Srila Prabhupada, and he challenged him. He said to Srila Prabhupada, he said, how can you worship someone who is an adulterer? You know, he was accusing Lord Krishna of being an adulterer because he had affairs with so many young ladies. But Prabhupada replied to this man, this professor, Indian bodied. He told him, he said, you are the adulterer. He said, all women belong to Krishna. All women belong to Krishna. So you're accusing him, but actually you're the one. You have to understand, Lord Krishna is not the adulterer. Prabhupada said to the professor, he said, you are the adulterer. He said, all women belong to Lord Krishna. And so they're all meant for his enjoyment. And he doesn't enjoy in the gross physical way, but he enjoys on the spiritual platform. All right, so these are some points. Maybe you have some question. Anyone? Anything?
Guru Maharaj, some of the Gopis are also said to be expansions of Krishna's internal potency. Is that correct? I'm not sure.
Well, Srimati Radharani, of course, is Krishna's Ladini Shakti. The Ladini Shakti means the pleasure potent. And it said in Bhagavad Gita, Mahatmanas tumam partha daivim prakritim ashrita. That the Mahatmas, meaning the great souls, the devotees, they're under the protection of the divine energy. So they're under the protection of the divine energy because they're always engaged in devotional service. So yeah, certainly if they're pure devotees, then they're spiritual, they're the divine potency of the Lord. Right? We're all spirit souls, spiritual beings. Our soul, we could say, is Tatastha Shakti, but its actual nature is spiritual. We actually belong in the spiritual world. We're actually meant to be with Krishna. But out of our own, due to our own mistakes, we have chosen to enter into the material world, which is not our real nature.
And also there was a discussion yesterday that the Vrindavan and spiritual world, the Vrindavan and here Bhoma Vrindavan and Golok Vrindavan, um, would it be opulent, same in opulence, or would Golok Vrindavan be more opulent than Bhoma Vrindavan, or they are just exactly the same?
Yeah, they're just the same. The opulence of Vrindavan, yeah, of course, you have to see it with spiritual vision, just like they were discussing. Well, at the time of Rāsa was discussing with Srivas Thakur about the opulence of Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. Now, Srivas Thakur, he is the expansion of Narada Muni, and Narada Muni is a Vaikuntha-vasi. So he was very much impressed with the opulence of the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi. But Swarup Damodar Goswami, who was Lord Chaitanya's secretary, he said to him, he said, look at the opulence of Vrindavan, that every tree is a kalpa briksha tree. It can fulfill all of our desires. And every cow is a kamadenu. And every speck of dust in the holy place is chintamani. He said, but the people of Vrindavan, because they're so pure in their mood of devotion to Krishna, although they could desire anything, they only desire from the trees, they desire fruit and flowers to offer to Krishna. And they desire also, they may desire to purchase some vegetable. They don't desire anything material. They're happy to get flowers and fruits from the trees and from the cows, the Kamadenu cows. They could desire anything. They just simply want some milk to offer to the deities. So this is the pure devotion of the people of Vrindavan. That although Vrindavan is so opulent, the devotees only want they just want everything for the service of Krishna.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you.
Do we have time to read another verse?
Sneha, is it
Yeah,
okay with you?
We can read, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we
Sneha
can
is
read.
okay. Yeah, Guru Maharaj. Thank you. Okay.
Does someone want to read?
Neha?
Tado durajah kakumba karer mukham prachya vilampan narudena shantameh sahacharna shinam udgat shucha mrijan priya priyaya iva dirgha darshanah. The moon then rose, anointing the face of the eastern horizon with the reddish hue of his comforting rays, and thus dispelling the pain of all who watched him rise. The moon was like a beloved husband who returns along a long absence and adores the face of his beloved wife with the red kumkuma. Purport. Young Krishna engaged his internal potency and she immediately created an exciting atmosphere for conjugal love. Hari Bol.
Okay, so yes, it's very nice to see the Lord Krishna taking advantage of the moon the beautiful color of the moon, the reddish hue. You know, of course, in the summer, Sarat season is still very hot. And when the moon rises, then it becomes cooler with the moonrise. Lord Ramachandra, he appeared in the Surya dynasty. Lord Krishna, of course, he came from the moon. So they can is the 8th day of the moon. We say Janmastami. It said the moon was so joyous that night that the moon appeared full, although it was only the 8th day. The moon appeared full because the Lord was taking birth in his line. So here we see the moon also, how it's giving pleasure to the Gopīs and to Lord Krishna. And they give this example, the beloved husband who puts kumkum on the face of his wife. He's been away for a long time. So Lord Krishna, he's using his internal potency to create this nice atmosphere for conjugal love, to increase the pleasure. Both for Lord Krishna and for the Gopis. Actually, the Gopis enjoy more than Lord Krishna. Just like the husband, he enjoys putting kumkum on the face of his wife, but the wife, she takes more pleasure. She's feeling more enjoyment than the husband. That the Gopis enjoyed thousands, millions of times more than Lord Krishna. Well, Lord Krishna, he also wants to enjoy. And that's why Lord Krishna comes as Caitanya Mahaprabhu, because he comes in the mood of a gopi and to cultivate Radha Bhav, to cultivate that mood of Srimati Radharani, in the mood of the Gopis, Gopi Bhav, because that's the ultimate pleasure for the devotee. Okay. Beautiful verse. Yeah.
Yeah, very beautiful.
Who wants to read number 3?
Sneha?
I'll try to read, yeah. Dishtva mukutmantam akhantamandalam Ramanannabham Navakunkumarunam Manam Chatat Komala Kohitanchitam Jago Kalambamadrasham Risham Manoharam. Lord Krishna saw the unbroken disk of the full moon glowing with the red effulgence of newly applied vermilion, as if it were the face of the goddess of fortune. He also saw the Kumunda lotuses opening in response to the moon's presence and the forest gently illumined by its rays. Thus the Lord began to play sweetly on his flute, attracting the minds of the beautiful-eyed Gopis. The word Jagao in this verse indicates that Lord Krishna played songs on his flute, as confirmed in text 40 by the words Ka Shriti Anga Te Kala Padayata Venu Gita. The word Rama may indicate not only Lord Vishnu's consort but also Srimati Radharani, the original goddess of fortune. Lord Krishna appeared in the dynasty of the moon god, and the moon plays a prominent role here in preparing for the Lord's entrance into the midst of the Rāsa dance.
So we're told Rama is not only Vishnu's consort Lakshmi, but can also mean Srimati Radharani, because she is the original goddess of fortune. So we're learning something about the Gopis. And we're hearing also in this verse, it's mentioned about Krishna playing on the flute. No one could play a flute like Lord Krishna. When Krishna would play on the flute, every person in Vrindavan would hear. All the cows, the calves, they would become stunned. The demigods be flying in their airplanes. They'd be stunned by the sound of Krishna's flute. So we cannot begin to imagine just what is that sound of Krishna's flute. They say actually Gayatri Mantra is the sound of Krishna's flute. Okay. Have we got time to read one more?
Yeah, yes, I think so, Guru Maharaj. Ratna, you want to read?
Hare Krishna. Okay.
Mm.
Nishamaya Gitam Tat Anagyavrat Nanam Rajastais Krishna Grita Manasya Tvijagamur Anyoyam Alakashino Dhyamiha Shayatra Katnojva Lola Kundala. Translate. When the young woman Vrindavan heard Krishna flute song, which arouses romantic feelings, their minds were captivated by the Lord. They went to where their lover waited, each unknown to the others, moving so quickly that their earrings swing back and forth. Apparently, each gopi went secretly, hoping to avoid advertising to her rivals the fact that young Krishna was in the mood for romantic affairs. Srila Vrindanath Chakravarti poetically describes the situation as follows. Krishna instigated a terrible act of thievery in Vrindavan when he played on his flute. The song of his flute entered through the ears of the Gopis into the inner treasures chamber of their hearts. That wonderful music stole all their most valuable possessions. Their sobriety, shyness, fear, and discrimination, along with their very minds. And in a split second, this music delivered all these goods to the Krishna. Now each gopi went to beg the Lord to return her personal property. Each beautiful young girl was thinking, I have to capture that great thief, and thus they went forward, each unknown to the others. Hare Krishna.
No, very interesting. So, Lord Krishna is known as a great thief, especially in this month of Purushottam Mas. We're remembering Lord Krishna's also, how he's a great thief, how he's stealing the butter. And here we're told about how he's stealing the hearts of the Gopis by playing on his flute. The vibration from Lord Krishna's flute, when it would enter into the ears, the Gopis would be completely captivated. And we're told Krishna stole their most valuable possessions. You could say their chastity was stolen by Lord Krishna. Their very minds. So that is the power of Lord Krishna's flute playing. And then we're told each gopi went unknowing to the other gopis. They each went individually to beg Krishna to get back their personal property. Give me back my shyness, my sobriety, fear, discrimination, these kind of qualities which are very valuable to young girls. And they have to come to Krishna and beg him, oh, please give me back my shyness. And we're told each gopi is thinking, I have to capture that great thief. What has he stolen? He's stolen their minds. He's stolen their chastity, their shyness, their fear. So wonderful. So this is Krishna Lila. All right. I think we have to stop now, huh?
Yeah, Guru Maharaj. That'll be good. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Gurudev.
Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Hare
His
Krishna.
Holiness Bhakti Vigna Vinashnishma Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Jai. Thank you. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.